Hello there, dear YouTube friends. In this video, I will teach you guys on how to make this project management software UI in Figma from scratch. So in this case, I would like to thank for this particular design have been given by one of the dribble artists called Arshia. So we need to really thank her for making this video possible to be for giving the content for this particular video. And let's get started with designing exactly this particular web UI given by Nur Aisha. So yeah, really huge shout out to this dribble artist. And let's get started with designing exactly like this. And as you can see here, this is a really stunningly looking like project management tool, which will be really like helpful for people like UI UX designers to actually just practice designing, start making their own designs. And this is the first, and like you can always start with designing with some this kind of examples that you can find from the internet. So let's get started. Let's go ahead to Figma. As you can see here, I have already opened Figma, a new project, and let's get started with using the first ever, the usual tool that we always start with. For example, in this case, we're going to use frame tool here, which is in this case going to be, you just need to click on this particular button here. So once you have clicked, just need to go back, and you can, all you need to do is just need to make a perfect good looking rectangle, something like this. It doesn't have to be really perfect, so just make it a simple rectangle, something like this. So this should be fine. And next, let's add some borders here. So that should be like, corners. The corner should be a bit, just a bit rounded. Let's say I need to go to here, this particular side. Sorry, this particular side of this design. You need, here is where we're gonna input the corner radius. So let's add like around like 10. Let's see. As you can see here, when I just added 10, and the corners have been rounded just a bit like this. So that's how it looks like. So next thing, let's give some nav bar. So in this case, we just need to give some simple header here. So the header is where it's going to contain all the search the rest of the parts that you usually find on the top part of the particular website. So as you can see here, you have not to have a header. So all you need to do is just grab this shape tool, and what you're going to do is just going to make another rectangle, something like this. Just make something like this, okay. And what you're going to do, just need to place this particular rectangle that we have just created inside frame. And as you can see here, you have seen the reason why we are using frame here. So the frame is basically, it doesn't show anything that goes out of its frame. So that's the reason why frame is really helpful when it comes to designing this kind of web UIs. Okay, so let's give some color to this frame. Sorry, for this particular header. Let me just bring it a bit down. The next thing I want to add is just to make sure that this particular color is to be white as well. But I would like to add some border. Yeah, add some stroke. In this case, we're going to call it stroke. But the stroke only going to come, just going to be on the bottom here, something like this. So yeah, I would like to give the border 2 pixel, and the color should be about like gray, somewhere around here, or should be okay. This should be fine. Just give like a simple yet like visible gray, and that will be the one that is going to separate the rest from the header. Okay, so next we'll be going to add one more section here. This section is going to be where we're going to add the navigation menu. In this case, it's going to be located on the left hand side here. So let's get the shape tool again. So in this case, we're going to use the exact same shape tool, and let's say we're going to just make it something like this around here. We're going to increase the width as well. And next thing, as you can see here, when I place it within the frame, whatever that comes off the frame doesn't show onto the main on the main grid, by the way. So that's the reason why we always choose frame whenever we want to start this project. So next thing would be we need to fill this into white color, and we need to add some what is this thing? Border. So in this case we'll call it stroke. So 2 pixels. and we're gonna add some gray color. Or what you can do, we can just like okay, so you can see here when I choose outside, it only like appears to be outside. And make sure they, I mean, both of these colors are the same. So let's check what color is this. So it's D triple D1, and this we need to make sure they are both the same. So triple D1 same goes to this. Oh, okay, there you go. Now you have like a separated menu, designated place, just to keep your navigation menu from here and the rest of the page from here. So next, let's add some logo here. In this case, this is where we're going to place the logo and the rest of the navigation menu, by the way. So let's get started. So let's add, sorry, let's grab this text tool, and we're just going to make it like this. And we're going to add, like, just going to name it task line. So the reason why we choose just task line is because that's what the name has been given by the designer. So just in this case, we're just going to go with that. Okay, so we're just going to make this to be a bit bold. I think semi-bold should be fine. And let's say I would like to increase the size of this, and let's just put it here. Okay, that's perfect. And let's add, I mean, give some different color than this. By the way, let's go and give some nice looking blue, and that's it. That's the logo itself. That's all we need to do. Okay, so next thing we'll be needing to do is to add all the navigation menu in this navigation bar. So let's add some text here. For example, like this. In this case, I'm going to name it dashboard. So I like to make the size to be reduced by half. This is still big. And then I like to give it like around 10. Yeah, 10 should do. Just gonna make it like this. And the next thing will be the color. So the color should be around gray. Should be a bit darker gray. Okay, this is a good gray, by the way. And next thing I want to add is the icon. So usually I would usually go to flat icon to usually get all this collection of icons which is free to use. Example, let's say if I type dashboard, as you can see here, once I click dashboard, there are a lot of options just for this particular icon. So let's go and choose just any one of these. For example, I would choose this, by the way, and this is a bit, I mean the thickness is a bit good, so that's why let's make it, that's what it will make it more visible. So in this case, I'm just gonna grab and just paste it here. Just reduce the size, and I'll be placing it right here. Yeah, we need to reduce the size as well. So I'll be placing it right here together with the text here, like this. Okay, there you go. And let's reduce the opacity of this particular icon as well. For example, let's give like around 50%. Okay, that should do. So as you can see here, this is just one of the what do you say, navigation menu. So we just need to like populate them. For example, let's say let's just gonna make it into a group. It's gonna make it a copy and I paste it. It's gonna duplicate it like this. It's gonna paste it like this, and just gonna like populate it like a couple of times. For example, copy and paste. Just gonna place it right here. Sorry, copy this whole thing. I'm just gonna paste it right here, and just once more. Just gonna do it once more. Okay, there you go. Okay, and also I would like to add some separators to separate between these particular sections of navigation bar using a line tool here. So just going to use simple line tool just to separate all of them like this, just like this. And let's give the color to be gray, and a bit lighter should be fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, there you go. And let's make it evenly placed between these two sections, and let's give it a duplicate of this. Let's make a duplicate of this and just place it right here, and they should be evenly separated, by the way. Okay, there you go. As you can see here, all of these are actually repetitions of the navigation menu, which is the first navigation menu, which is dashboard. So but then we need to have them to be unique. I mean, they should be different, each of them, so that it looks nice. So that's what I'll be doing in next. So in this case, let's say this is the first is dashboard here. The next thing should be I have to give it schedule. So let's go and look for a icon called schedule. So just gonna search for the icon, just typing it here, schedule, and as you can see here, there are a lot of them. So I'm just going to choose anyone that really looks nice. As you can see here, I'm just going to go with this, by the way. So this is because it's super minimal, and just going to place it right here. By clicking on this, I'm just going to paste it at this particular icon, so that it just easily get pasted, replaced. By the way, that's a word, replaced. So let's make the opacity to be the same as the one in the previous. So I'm going to give 50%. Okay, we have done with the first section. Let's go to the following section. In this case, we're going to use this should be task. Sorry, I have copied an extra version of this, so I'm just gonna remove this and just gonna keep this. So I'm gonna say task, and let's look for any icons that matches the term task. Let's say just search for the term task. Let's see. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Let's look for something which is super minimal. As you can see here, this is seriously looks nice, as well as this. And yeah, I mean, I really find a lot more of them are actually good looking. So just look for something that's able to should be thick at the same time. So I think I'll be going with this, by the way. But this kind of look like a calendar, but it's okay. Just gonna copy this. Just gonna paste it at this particular icon, and it's gonna replace it, and make sure the brightness to be, I mean the opacity to be half as well. Okay, then next should be let's add calendar. Oh, sorry, I forgot to delete the another duplicate version. Okay, let's delete calendar. Sorry, let's add calendar, and let's look for the icons which matches with the term calendar. So as you can see here, I like this particular calendar here. This particular calendar. Okay, this is because it's really yeah. I mean, thickness is, I mean, it's really thick, and it's really how do you say? Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, it really stands out. By the way, really know this is a calendar. It like really explains itself. So okay, next will be let's add roadmap. By the way, so sorry, forward will be the first one. Okay, let's look roadmap. Let's look up for the term roadmap here. As you can see here, there are like a lot of them, and I don't seem to find anything that really that's able to match the roadmap that we are looking for. So in this case, what we're gonna do is that we can actually like come up with our own how do you say, yeah, our own icon. For example, let's say if I were to remove this, and let's say if I can just add some rectangle, something like that, and let's give the opacity, I mean, let's not give any opacity, but we give stroke instead. The stroke should be around like 50%. Okay, that's nice. And yeah, let's add one more just so it looks like an yep, something like this. Okay, that's nice. Let's reduce the size, and what you can do, you can just like reduce the opacity Okay, that should be it. Let's say if I were to keep the thickness to be 1, this should be okay as well. And next thing we'll be doing is this thing here. So let me just check. Okay, that's a duplicate version. So next menu should be trash. Just gonna copy everything. Just gonna paste it here and look for the icon. Let's see if there's any icon that matches trash. Of course it did. Okay, let's go and look for anything that's really minimal. For example, let's give all this are minimal, by the way. Let's make it really like good looking, something like this. Yeah, as you can see here, this is seriously minimal. It doesn't have much detail, so that's what it means. Okay, so just gonna select this. I'm just gonna paste it at this particular icon so that it replaces itself. And as you can see here, just need to reduce the opacity to 50%, which is by half. Okay, there you go. You have finished with the second section. And lastly, let's go to the last section here. So this section we won't be needing the icons here, so just gonna remove these icons. So remove these icons, just gonna copy I mean, yeah, select everything. Just gonna place it right here. Okay, just gonna place it right here. And next I'm gonna name it like something like something, sorry, yeah, that's a duplicate version. Just gonna delete the duplicates. Next thing I will be adding is just gonna name it projects. So this is gonna be the title of the projects that they are working on. Example, let's say projects, and next thing, let's give the project like name, for example, or just some random name just for the title of the project. And let's reduce this opacity just to show that this is the title and this is the content. So let's give it a copy. Just copy this and just gonna name it like some random words. Okay, so just some simple yet, yeah, just some random text just to show that this is the title of the projects that they have been working on. So this should be just name it any projects. So yeah, okay, so we have done with the third section. And in case if you like to like give like more option, you can actually just give it a copy of this, just paste it here, and we can say show more, just so that we can actually give an option to the user that they are actually can have more they have more access to, by the way. Example, show more. Let's give an icon, by the way. Example, let's just gonna copy this, just gonna paste it right here, and then just gonna place it right beside this show more. And in this case, just gonna replace this, and just gonna make the thickness a bit. Okay, show more. And let's gonna look for I'm gonna look for like an icon which will be able to let them have a look on top to for the for the projects. Example, let's say if I type drop down here. Drop down should be the one, the perfect match for this icon. So it's drop down, and let's say okay, this should be okay. Just gonna copy this image, just gonna paste it right here. Oops, sorry. Okay, there you go. And then of course you should need to reduce the opacity to 50%, and just make sure it aligns to the text. And there you go, we are done. Okay, and then last but not the least, we need to like have like an avatar for the user, who's the owner of the user. For example, we can actually look for like pixels for human faces which are free to use. So in this case, I just want to type uh, face. As you can see, there are lot of face. So I just want to choose something which is really like able to yeah, resonate from the back. and it should be really clear, something like, yeah, must be, yeah, something like this. But this is, I mean, the height of the head, I mean, there needs to be a space around here. Let's, okay, something like this. But yeah, we need to give more space at the top. Yeah, this should be fine. So it's gonna copy this. Just gonna, for now I'll be creating, having a frame, and just gonna make a square shape. And what I'll be doing here, inside the frame, I'll be pasting the picture of that person, reducing the size to match the frame. Reduce the size. Yep, as you can see here, this is the face, by the way. Okay, now once the photo has been fit to the frame, what we can do is that we can actually make the frame to become circle. So as you can see here, just click on the frame. Oops, sorry. Okay, just click on the frame and just increase the the corner radius to max. Okay, there you go. I'm just gonna make this image to be center. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, that's perfect. And let's add the person's name. For example, in this case, we're just gonna type like a text here. So just gonna type Adrian. And this is his full name, and this is gonna be his username. Something like this, and I'm gonna make it gray. And yeah, since it's a username, I would like to reduce the size to around like 9 should do. And also like I'm gonna add this alias so that it looks like an icon. It looks like an username, by the way. So as you can see here, we have completed this particular section of the whole page. So okay, we are done with the part. We are done with the navigation menu section. And next, let's go for the main section here. Yeah, this is now only we are actually entering into the main section. So let's give like a separator. Add a separator at here. Just gonna make a line, something like this. And this line is gonna be having a thickness of 2 pixels. And the color is gonna be, just gonna follow this color, which is triple D1. And it's gonna paste it right here. Okay, there you go. In this case, I'm gonna like name the title of the project. So the title of the project is just some random word. For example, Pico design roadmap, and just gonna increase the size. It's kind of big, by the way, so just gonna reduce the size to 16 should do. Okay, yeah, 16 is perfect. And next thing will be having some call to action button here, just to fill this gap, this empty space. So let's add some shape, rectangular shape here. So in this case, just gonna make a rectangular shape. Just gonna place it something around here, place it right here. And I'm not gonna give any fills, but I'm gonna give some stroke. The stroke should be around like thickness of 2. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna like make the brightness to be really light, and I'm gonna give some corners radius as well, around like 25 should do. I mean, that's kind of a lot, so that's gonna give around like 10. Okay, that should be it. Let's give what should be inside the content of the button. So in this case, it's gonna type plus new task, reduce the size. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna give more space and just gonna place it right in the center. Make sure they are aligned to the center as well. And what I can do here, I can reduce reduce the thickness, the boldness. And what I can do here as well, I can actually change the color to blue. Okay, that should be it. And let's reduce the opacity of this particular this particular stroke, something like that. Okay, that should be it. And once you're done with that, and let's add the first section here. In this case, gonna need some simple section like this, a separator. I mean, not a separator by the way, but this is just to fill the space here. So in this case, I'm gonna make like a shape like this, and this is where we'll be seeing the what do you say? Wait, let me just place it first. Okay, this case, I'm gonna reduce the opacity of the color, and it's gonna move it to the left. Okay, that's nice by the way. Okay, now let's add some product cards here just to so that we like this to make it. Yeah, in this case, this section is going to be, it's called where we'll be placing all the progress. In this case, for example, let's say I like to make a rectangular shape like this, and I'm going to make it white. And of course, I'm going to reduce the size. By the way, reduce the width. It's going to make it smaller, and also the height a bit smaller. Should be okay. Okay, just make sure they are placed center. And I'm going to have some corners. I mean, some radius to the corners. For example, around like 10. Okay, that's nice. And in this case, I'll be adding some like a progress, like how much has this particular project has been done, or how much has this particular task has been done so far. So in this case, going to reduce the size to 80%, and this one should be a bit thicker. Just going to place it right here. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to grab this line tool, make a line, something like this. And this line tells us that this how much has been made. For example, let's make it 2, and let's give the color to be gray. Okay, there you go. This is just to make this is just a backdrop of the progress, but we have not added the progress yet. So what I can do here, just gonna copy this and make a copy of this, make a duplicate version of this. And what we can do here, just add a color. And what we can do here, we can just reduce the height, the width, sorry. And yeah, there you go. It looks like it has been 80% made. Okay, next thing we should do is that we need to label what's the name of this particular task here. So in this case, we're going to name it let me just align to the left. This going to case just going to name it like, for example, task 1, and task 1 has its own like, let me just place it right here. And of course, let's give like a profile picture, something like that. Profile picture for like a display. I mean, it's called display picture, by the way. Display picture for task 1. So in this case, I would like to give this color to be let's reduce the color, the brightness. Let's reduce the color, and let's look for an icon where we can place it within here. In this case, let's look for instead of icons, we can actually look for emojis as well. Let's say we can go for globe emoji, and what we can do here, we can go to Emojipedia and then click on it, and let's look for emojis of a globe, and let's copy like this here. This is exactly like, looks really nice because it looks real. and we're gonna place it right in between, inside this particular the profile picture. So you can see here we have just placed this emoji. Okay, and make sure it's centered. Yeah, it might not be centered properly. Okay, it should be not so centered. Okay, this should be it. Yeah, it's kind of not so centered. Just make it okay. That should be it. And let's give more description for this task. So who's the one who in charge of this task? For example, let's say we can name it like the person of in charge. For example, who's this person? Yeah, Adrian. So it's gonna give his name here, Adrian. So yeah, let's make the color to be gray. Let's reduce the size even more. Like around like 5 would do. Oh, that's so small. Should be 7. Okay, yeah, that should be it. I think instead of giving a title, I mean person's name, let's give the date that the thing has been begun. For example, February. So February 12, something like that. And let's see if I were to add someone's like who's the one person who's in charged. So I can actually just add them added at the bottom here. So just gonna make a copy of this particular frame. Copy this. Just gonna place it right here. And of course I'm gonna reduce the size. Just gonna make it like this. Make sure. Just gonna place it right here. And next thing I'll be adding is that I'll be reducing the size of the image as well, so it fits this particular frame. Okay, something like that. And just gonna make a copy of this. Just gonna place it right here. What I can do here, just gonna find a different picture. Example, let's in this case, let's use um, let's just go through this. This should be it. So it's gonna copy this. It's gonna place it right here. There you go. So there's two people who are in charge of this project, and let's name the people who are in charge. For example, in this case, we're gonna name that Adrian, and just gonna comma and let's let another person's name. So something like that. It's gonna reduce the size. Opacity. Okay, that should be it. And let's increase the size of this too, so that it will be able to visibly. Yeah, let me just delete this for now. Just gonna make the size of this to be bigger. Okay, should be okay. And let's make another copy of this. Gonna place it right here and just look for a person's face, copy image, and just gonna replace it with it. There you go. We have done with the task list. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna have this populate this task, something like this. Copy. It's gonna give it a copy like this. It's gonna place it right here, and just make. I'm gonna make another copy of all of them. Just gonna double the number of tasks, and place it right here. And lastly, there's one more, and we're gonna add it one more list here. Just gonna place it right here, and make sure the reason why this is showing up because this is not placed within the frame. So what we can do here, we can just like have them to be placed within the frame. So copy everything, just look for the frame. Well, the frame is let's look for the frame is here. It's called frame 1. So whatever that's out of the frame 1 should be placed within the frame 1. So copy everything which is outside of the frame 1. It's going to place it right here. So as you can see here, everything that's not that is bound out of the frame, it has been added. I mean they are like hidden because they have already gone out of the frame. So which is exactly what we want. And next and the last but not the least thing will be the roadmaps. So in this case, let's add the roadmap. For example, let's add like a task, the headers. For example, what are the tasks that should be placed in this particular row. I mean, yeah, I think it should be column, by the way. It should be called column. Let's increase the size a bit, around like 12 would do. So it's like, okay, so what are the tasks here? I mean, we need to change the color of this, and let's populate with the task. So basically, like all of these tasks here, this is all the tasks that we need to have. For example, task 1, this should be task 2, this should be task 3, and this should be task 4, and lastly it's task 5. Okay, something like that. So we're just gonna transfer it from here to here. For example, it's gonna make it like this. It's gonna say task 1. Let's give black in this case. Increase the size a bit. Okay, that should be it. And just gonna populate this with the rest of the task. This is task 1, this is task 2, so on. It's task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5. Just let's fill more spaces. For example, let's add task 5 here. Task 6, by the way. I'm just gonna say task 6, something like that. Oh, okay, that's nice. Just gonna copy everything. Just gonna place it in the center. And in this case, I would like to give more space between the tasks. So in this case, let's okay, should be it. Okay, So I just place them accordingly. It's gonna make it center. It's gonna place it right here. The next thing I'm gonna add is basically gonna add some timeline here. Example, this is task and what happened in February. So just gonna name it Feb here. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna make a line right after February. When the February begins, something like this. Let's make a line of thickness 1. Let's make it till the edge. And what I'm gonna do here, just gonna change the color. And the color should be the same as the one that we are using, which is D111. D1 triple, yeah, it's actually triple D1 by the way. So just gonna paste it everything. Paste the color code here. So this is basically to separate whatever happened from February onwards. For example, just gonna place it right here. I'm gonna place it right here as well. So next will be let's populate the month, the list of months. Give it a copy. Just gonna place it right here. So copy again. Just gonna make it place it right here. And one more. We'll copy once more. And just gonna place it right here. And the lastly will be here. Okay, that should be it. Okay, this is February, this is March, this is April, this is May, and this should be June. Okay, there you go. So what I can do here, the last thing should be that I should be adding the progress, like it's called something to be called as a progress bar, something like that. So in this case, I'm going to add something like this. Okay, something like that, and I'm going to give some radius of 10 and also some color. In this case, all I use is blue. Okay, so let's add what should the content of this particular task should be. For example, design website, something like that. Okay, just gonna place it right in the center. Well, not so center, just gonna place it right here. Okay, should be it. And just gonna make them into a group so that I can actually just just reuse them whenever I want. For example, I just made a copy of this, so I will just just replacing it here. So something like that. I'm just gonna place it right here, and I'm just gonna increase the size. And I like to change the color of this. This one should be gray. I just have to make it gray, something like this. And this should be let's add some color. So I'm just gonna type something else instead of designing website. Inspiration for interaction, something like that, just to label them with some text. And next will be let's go to the task 2. Wait, let me just copy both of this. Copy of them. Just gonna place it right here. So the next one will be for task 2. So task 2, I'm just gonna make it place it right in. We'll be placing it right here. This case I will change the color to, in this case let's use a different color. In this case it's gonna be red. Let's use a mild red. Okay, that should be it. In this case it's gonna be just something else. Just name something else. For example, iconly after effects. In this case, this is going to be animate in the home category. I mean, this just goes out of the frame already, but it's okay. You can just remove them. Okay, so next, just copy the same thing, and I'm just gonna place it right here for task 3. Just gonna place it to the over to the left. Sorry, right, and this gives a different color for now. Let's say copy this. this case I'm gonna give purple. Dark purple should do something like this. Okay, should be like that. And just gonna place it, just gonna name it like this. Just gonna leave it because it's just some dummy text. Next thing will be just need to add one more for task 4. Just change the color. The color should be something else. For example, in this case I will use orange. Okay, there you go. And one more for task 5. So task 5 should be, let's say the task 5 hasn't been like started maybe, or not haven't been completed yet. So in this case just gonna make it the same color as this. And this, the content should be dark color. Okay, and but in this case I'll have to make this to be blue. Case I would like to name it blue. I mean the color should be blue. Some blue, and just gonna give white for the fill. And next but not least, last but not least, should be for task 6. Gonna copy and paste for them. I will just place it exactly at task 6, and just gonna, as you can see here, the thing has already became out of the frame. Let's make it to the center. Okay, that should be it. And what I can do here, I like to change the color as usual. To change the color of this to, sorry, not this. Let's change the color to green. Let's give like a nice, good-looking green. And change the color to white. This should be white. And let's give the color green, a proper green, so that it's actually able to. Okay, that's nice. And this should be the same as this gray here, and this should be the same as, this need to give a different gray color. So as you can see here, this is the task here, all the stuff that we have listed. So as you can see here, we have already done most of the parts here. Only thing the left is the top part here, the top, which is like something to do with the usual icon. The usual icons that we usually have it at the top of the of a screen of any desktop application. Let's say in this case it's going to be the 3 dots, red, just going to place it right here. Just going to copy paste. This should be yellow, and one more. Green. Okay, there you go. Just gonna place it. It's gonna select this. Just gonna place it towards the end, and make sure your size is not so big, by the way. Okay, there you go. And next thing we have to add is the back and front. So just gonna take it like this. Just gonna make it smaller. Just place it within the frame. Yeah, rotate them. Just gonna make it a bit bigger. Okay, and just gonna make a copy of this. Just gonna rotate them, so flip horizontal. So in this case, all I do like place them apart, separate them, and I like to give the opacity to 50% or even lesser. For example, around like 25 should do, and this should be around like 50%. Okay, there you go. Okay, so next thing I like to look for is, let's say I look for one more icon called sidebar. Let's say if it really exists, and it should be nice if it really exists. For example, like this here. Yeah, this is a good looking icon. Let me just place it. Let them place it here, and just gonna make a copy of this. Be here, and I'm gonna copy this particular icon. And let's see if there's anything that's better than this particular icon that we have just chosen. You can just go down, and there seems to be no other icons that usually been as good looking as this. So just gonna paste it right here. So this is not the icon, sorry, it's a different icon. This is the icon here. Oh yeah, I know why, because it's rotated. Yeah, that's the reason. Okay, so let's reduce the opacity to 50%. Okay, that should be it. And next thing we'd like to add is there's other stuffs also. For example, that we usually find over here. In this case, we're gonna look for example copy, icon called copy. And what I'm gonna do here, just gonna have them. It's gonna copy all these three icons which we just did, and it's gonna place it right here as well. Okay, so it's gonna have any of this. Yeah, it's gonna copy any of this. For example, this here, the first one. So copy image. It's gonna replace it with here. Make the opacity to 50% or even lesser. 25 should do. Okay. Okay. Next thing I want to add is just some simple plus icon. Plus, just name it plus something like that. And as you can see, there are like a lot of them. So just gonna take any one of this. Just gonna copy this and place it here. And make sure the size is not so big, and they are like perfectly fit. Let me just look for other icon. As you can see here, this is yeah, this should be it. And reduce the opacity to 50%. I think should be 25. Sorry. And last but not the least is this one last icon. We're gonna name it share, which is a share icon. And let's look for something which, okay, it should be something like this. So let's get this icon, copy this icon. Just gonna place it right here, and gonna reduce the opacity to 25%. Okay, there you go. And yeah, I think that's all. We have finished the entire website, web UI. So let me just get this thing done for the last time. Okay, that should be it. Okay, I think we have done the whole website, the whole web UI. This is a UI, by the way, for okay. Thank you guys for watching this entire video, and that's the end of this particular video tutorial of this particular designing of this particular web UI of project management tool. And yeah, it's a huge, I like to thank again to the dribble artist called Arshia for actually sharing your work publicly available for people like me and the rest of the aspiring UI UX designers who are actually having good potential to be able to like learn stuff from actual UI UX designers like you. And yeah, that's all from me. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this entire video till the end here, and hope we'll be meeting our next video. Until then, peace. And of course, let's give a huge shout out to all the dribble artists there for actually sharing their work publicly available for us to actually learn from them as well. And that way we'll be able to like learn and actually to become inspired from them as well. And yeah, last but not least, yeah, thank you guys for watching. And yeah, until the next video, peace guys. Thanks.